Is my screen visible to everyone? Are you able to see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
fine. Please allow, I think there is one more participant. We can allow that participant. Previously, we have discussed on a similar topic, empowering educators for the better tomorrow with B.Ed program. In this series, now we are going to discuss empowering teacher for a better tomorrow with B.Ed program. First of all, I would like to thank Navrachna University. And from behalf of Navrachna University, I welcome all the participants. Now, because we are emphasizing on teacher, can any one of you define what is an ideal teacher? So on the slide, you are able to see so many roles. Can you say which are those roles in which you feel you are good enough, or you're trying to implement those things in your classroom setting? Anyone? Fine, nobody want to respond to it? Fine. If you see as an ideal teacher, there are three basic. One is as an educator, other one is as a researcher, and third one is as a practitioner. Now, ideally, if we see all those things, usually once we become teacher, we try to deliver content to the students in our very typical classroom situation. And when we do that, we try to deliver content in a different mode. Along with that, we try to integrate technology. We try to organize things. So that is one particular role of a teacher, very typical. Now, if you are not practicing all those things as a practitioner, then you will identify that it is very difficult to take good content in the classroom. It is very difficult to integrate new technologies in the classroom. It is very difficult to know the learner and provide content according to their understanding. And therefore, for an ideal teacher, if you are able to see on the right hand side, this left hand side corner, the role of a practitioner, where he has content knowledge, he has mastery in his or her field, and an active member of community of practitioners. So as a practitioners, we must be the part of different communities. We must mastery over content or in our discipline, and then the content knowledge. And all those things connected to the educator when we deliver content in our classroom setting. And if we have all those things, then easily we are able to manage the classroom. There is one more role that we are usually missing in the classroom, that is as a researcher. So what usually researcher do? He try to conduct action research based on the classroom problems. He try to give research projects, analyze data, analyze opinions, and then give his or her inferences. Along with that, he become the active member of educational research community. So this is how, when we talk about the ideal teacher, overall image of an ideal teacher. So you must be an educator. When we are in the classroom, as a practitioners, we must be engaged in the community. We must develop more skills for mastery over the discipline. And when it's come to the role of a researcher, we must engage in some kind of research work and try to become the part of any research community. Now, what happened that in the education system, if we talk about from 1986 to 2020, in the early stage in 1986, we talk about that, yes, we are trying to create chances to learn. So for the learner, we are trying to create the environment. Now in 2020, what national education policy emphasizing on? Instead of just creating the chance for them, let us teach them what interests them. So this is the big shift we are able to see. And therefore, there is a full shift in the pedagogy and the paradigm. So instead of traditional pedagogies, we are using innovative or best pedagogies. In terms of shift, there is a shift from teacher-centric to child-centric. Now, in NEP 2020, if we talk about in terms of higher education, this policy tried to break down so many things, and it is applicable for both, whether it's school education or higher education. One is it's trying to break down the traditional silos. है ना, क्लासरूम में फिक्स करके पढ़ाने का ट्राई कर रहे थे. Now they are saying we need to do so many things. So instead of traditional thing, why not to have different things? So they are trying to break this traditional silos. Then the multidisciplinary approach. Students must understand the things from different perspective, not just from his discipline. Then skill orientation education. So skill orientation should be emphasized. Then choice-based credit system, as it is lightly said that it must be interest for the students, and therefore we need to integrate choice-based credit system. Then the flexibility in entry and exit. Then vocational education, technology-enabled learning, assessment reform, preparing for lifelong learning, and global mobility and recognition are few of the areas which NEP highlights. Now, when we specifically talk about university, what university means? As we rightly seen in the previous slide, that university means a multidisciplinary institution of higher education. So what usually this higher education do? In higher education, there are different programs, undergraduate programs, graduate programs, and research-based programs. And in all those programs, what does is they usually teach that content, try to do research in that content, and try to engage community engagement with the kind of teaching or the research researchers or the faculties are doing in their own field. When it's come to specific to academic, then four different things that are highlighted. One is these degree programs should be or shall be holistic in nature. That means it must have overall understanding about the programs of the discipline, must have some interdisciplinary and of high quality. And that's why nowadays teachers or the faculties are involved in developing curriculum. And they try to develop curriculum based on their understanding, based on their practices. Then flexibility in curriculum and novel engaging curriculum options are also available. Rigorous specialization is subjects are required nowadays. You are able to see that in academics also new subjects are adding. Then pedagogy with increased emphasis on communication. So now in the classroom, you are able to see that teachers, because it's child-centered, we are not just deliver the content, we try to communicate. We try to discuss. We try to have debate. We try to do some kind of research and opportunities for cross-disciplinary and interdisciplinary thinking. So in pedagogies also you are able to see it's an innovative kind of pedagogy where a lot of things are integrated. Now, if you want to implement the same thing, there are challenges. So these challenges are around many, but we are going to discuss few. One, quality education for all. Now, how to provide this quality education? Shifting the focus from guaranteeing access to education to ensure a high quality right education for all. How this is possible? Creating a system of high quality education that is affordable and accessible, especially for underprivileged communities. That means you will easily find that nowadays government is emphasizing on online courses from the platform like Swayam and so on. Second challenge is cultivating excellence and research. Whether it's school education or higher education, I personally feel that institution must create an environment where teacher or researcher from higher education should teach content and based on his understanding to improve his teaching, to upgrade his content, he must do research. And because it is not well practiced in the institutions, we need to cultivate the culture of research in our institutions. And by doing this or implementing this, we can identify innovative teaching methods and research contribution for the field. Third challenge would be world-class education governments. Establishing a government framework that prioritizes continuous improvement, foster collaboration, and ensure accountability. You must be agree that if you go through the policy, you come to know we are not just talking about the education, we are talking about the world-class education. And to handle that world-class education, we need large infrastructure, we need technology, we need improvement in our summative and formative assessment. And if we are able to do that with good collaboration, then I'm ensure that quality will improve. Then bridging innovation gap. We know that there is a gap when we are teaching something. We are teaching with the previous knowledge, we are going through the content. And if you realize, you come to know we are trying to deliver the similar things every year. But if you talk about the innovative practices, they are lacking. So we need to bridge that gap between innovative practicing and fostering a culture of innovation in education system. And if we are able to do that, we can easily attract learners. Then leading in research, emphasizing not only working at the frontiers of research, but also creating new frontiers. Role of research in NEP. NEP recognizes at the end, I would say that NEP recognizes the crucial role of research in driving positive change, focusing on the power of execution. So it's all depend on understanding everything, how we are going to execute. So the planning part, the organization part, the understanding part is very important. And the NAP aims to transform the education system through high quality, accessible education, fostering research and innovative practices. Now, this national education policy has some vision for undergraduate students. And this particular vision, if I'm going to talk about as one is learning beyond textbook. Now, sometime you might have this observation in the classroom that when teachers start something, he tried to provide something different. Why? Because for overall development, focusing on implementing a holistic and multidisciplinary curriculum. Now, To implement something that is beyond textbook, it is not so easy. And making it holistic and a multidisciplinary, using the multidisciplinary approach in the curriculum, you need to do so many things. So how it can be done? In your assignment, you can motivate students, encourage students to do critical thinking and applying problem solving skills through project based learning. So you can give some kind of project where you can have both critical thinking and problem solving. So you can integrate and then students can do the research. Second, you have to promote creativity, teamwork, and communication via group activities and presentations. So once you give any kind of assignment to the students in a team to discuss their strength and weakness, they discuss about their activities, they discuss about how to collect information, and so on. And in all those things, they know how to communicate, they know how to respect the team members, they know how to do the presentations, and in the process, they learn so many things. Second, choice and flexibility with cross-disciplinary exploration. NEP also offers a flexible curriculum with more freedom of choice courses across different disciplines. That means in the curriculum, the choice is given that science student take course in arts to explore interest. So as rightly said in the starting that what interests them, they can select or choose those subjects. So the chances is given, the flexibility is given. And thereby you are able to see that in universities also, when you come and join as a B.Ed student, the choice is given to the students so that they, apart from the B.Ed program, apart from the core subject of psychology, or it may be assessment, they also learn something similar on those lines. Apart from this, they might learn pottery or some kind of uh, development in terms of engineering workshops and so on. So they might get exposure to different electives so that apart from the content they learn or explore areas of their interest. Then holistic and multidisciplinary. This policy also emphasizes of combination of different subjects from different discipline. Earlier, what happened that if you have studies one particular course, then it is very difficult to take another one. Now this combination is there. You can select those courses. For example, combining psychology with data science for a deeper understanding of human behavior, you can see. Studying environmental science along with economics to address complex global issues. That means based on your understanding of that topic or discipline, you can combine two or more discipline and do some kind of research. Then flexible PG program, 3-year program with an option to extend to 4 years. So there's a flexibility. Another flexibility is any time you can earn certificates at different stages of the program. So if you complete 1 year, you get certificate. Then if you are able to complete 2 years and you want to exit from the program, you will get a diploma degree. If you are able to complete 3 years, then you get the degree, usual degree. And if you're able to complete the 4 years of your studies, then you get this honors degree. And this is how the flexibility is integrated into the different programs. Now, building skill set, emphasizing vocational training and skill development among the traditional academicians or academics, integrating coding boot camp into the curriculum, offering courses in culinary arts alongside traditional subjects. So emphasizing more on building skill sets and emphasizing on vocational training and skill development so that if you are out from the system, at least you can do earning and you can become the part of larger community. Then engage learning with responsible citizenship, incorporating credit-based courses and project focus on community engagement, environment education, and value-based education, participating in community service project as a part of the curriculum so that you become more responsible. Then environmental education through hands-on and projects and fieldwork. Now you're also able to see that now it's our responsibility to take care of all those things. So it must become the part of curriculum. So it is not, it's a different subject and we are not going to take part in it, but it's important now that we should emphasize on community engagement, environment education and value-based education because deteriorating day by day. Then incorporation of work experience and careers higher education institution to integrate internship and on-the-job training. So internship programs shall be embedded in the final year of study. Partnering with industries for real work training experience. And on similar basis, in our case also, in B.Ed, NEP is emphasizing around on-job training. And in our case at B.Ed, we provide 1 year of full internship. So those who are interested, they can join. And after first year, in the second year, we have full internship phase. So they get into the field, they get the real world experience about the education. Along with that, now we are looking for more partnership with the industry people. So education should not be limited to classroom teaching. It should focus on research. It should focus on content creation. It should focus on STEM education. It should focus on critical thinking and so on. And if we are able to these things, then we are able to maintain the flexibility, holistic learning, and skill development. We also trying to emphasize on personalized learning journey through a flexible curriculum. Along with that, enhance job readiness through practical work experiences. Now, if we understand all those things, we all must be agree that now we need something that is based on outcome-based education or outcome-based learning. So when we talk about outcome-based education or outcome-based learning, the outcome of these courses when students come out from the system, they must have some competences or some abilities. Second is quality of knowledge. Some time back, when I had this discussion with some of the students, they are saying that in some of the courses, they feel the content is too hard. They're not able to understand. But believe me, we really need to understand. We really need to read lot of books to understand content. We cannot depend ourselves on 1 or 2 books for the content. Also, we need to read books from Indian authors as well as books from foreign authors. And when you do that, you come to know, and in the process, you will identify that your quality is improved. Second, if we talk about the output, output is in the form of qualification or a degree. Once it is done at the end, you get the degree and the quantity of knowledge. So you might have learned so many subjects when you are in any college or in the university. You get the degree once your course is done, and you get the knowledge. So this outcome based education, it is integrated at any university level from the mission and vision. So if you go to any website, आप किसी भी वेबसाइट पे जाओगे तो आप देखोगे यूनिवर्सिटी ने अपना मिशन एंड विजन दिया है, and based on those mission and vision, they have different program education objectives. That means if they're having 4 to 5 programs, then they have program objectives based on vision and mission, and then the program outcomes, and then ultimately it enter into the courses, and where the courses and the course outcome are clearly mentioned. So all those things are there because we want to achieve mission and vision of the institution. So all those things should be properly aligned, otherwise we are not able to achieve the course outcome. Now, if we are focusing on the significant variations of this open on this focus on learning outcome, we must emphasize more on the student center approach, focuses on learning outcome, focuses on assessment and evaluation, curriculum development, and flexibility. We have to take care of these things in outcome-based education. In the process, why we are emphasizing on outcome-based education, it is integrated in the courses because we want to develop competences in the individual. So how these competences can be developed? If we talk about competency, it is defined as the ability acquired by the students to meet educational demands of society. It is to carry out a task successfully based on defined assessment. So whatever the assessments task we have decided, it is based on vision and mission. It is based on program objective. It is based on course objective. So it has cognitive and non-cognitive dimensions. So it's have a combination of both. Then outcome, as we are discussing, qualifications versus competences. It will not just focus on the qualification that you have completed or you have this degree. You also must have some kind of competences that are developed during the phase. Then acquisition of knowledge versus utilization of knowledge. Usually in the degree courses, I have seen बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो बीएड करके आते हैं या जो बीएड में है या फिर ग्रेजुएशन करके आते हैं, बीएससी है, बीएड है, ये आपका बीएससी प्रोग्राम है, बीए प्रोग्राम है, बीकॉम है, बहुत सारा नॉलेज का एक्विजिशन करके लेके आता है. And when we ask them, okay, can you apply the same thing? They say no. And what's the use of that knowledge that is in your mind? It should have some kind of utility. So one side, there is a lot of knowledge that you are accumulating. On the other side, how you are going to use it. If you are not able to use it, that accumulation of knowledge is of no use. The knowledge synergy with skill inculcation. Now, when everything comes very close or in a very comprehensive manner, once the things are decided at the higher level, it gets into the courses. When I'm saying courses means theory, practical, or theory come practical courses. For example, assessment for learning. बीएड में एक ये कॉमन सब्जेक्ट होता है. आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू डिस्कस एवरीथिंग बट आई एम गोइंग टू हाईलाइट दिस रेड पार्ट. कोर्स आउटकम. Course outcomes are statements that describe significant and essential learning that learner have achieved and can reliably demonstrate at the end of course. So once the course is done, outcomes are clearly written and students must able to demonstrate once the course is done. And generally, three or more course outcome may be specified for each course based on its weightage. Now, if I talk about one of the course in B.Ed program, this is how the course is. Assessment for learning. So there are few objectives. You are able to see course objective. And at the end, you are able to see the learning outcome and topology of the courses. So apply the understanding of assessment and various dimensions of learner development. So if you are not able to develop yourself, it is very difficult to assess students' development. First, you have to understand all those things. That means simultaneously all these things will go. As a teacher, you should be an ideal teacher and you're trying to implement all those things. And in the process, once you understand everything, you can see the same thing in the form of learning outcome. So select the appropriate assessment tools and technique to assess learners development. So बहुत सारी चीजें लर्न करते हैं और लर्न करने के बाद व्हेन इट्स कम टू इम्प्लीमेंटिंग आपको तो वही टूल्स आइडेंटिफाई करने हैं, वही चीजें आइडेंटिफाई करनी है जो स्टूडेंट्स के लिए अच्छी है. इट इज नॉट कि यू लर्न एवरीथिंग और फिर सारी चीजें उस पर इम्प्लीमेंट कर दो. ऐसा नहीं होगा. जो चीज जरूरत की है वही वहां पे इम्प्लीमेंट होगी. Apply and prepare the appropriate documents for record of assessment. So once the course is done, students must know how to do the documentation part in terms of assessment, how to apply and prepare those documents. Then create awareness about contemporary concerns of education. तो जो भी एरिया के कंसर्न्स है, जो भी एरिया के कंसर्न्स है, वो भी यहाँ पे डिस्कशन होते हैं, सो दैट जो भी लर्नर है दे ऑल्सो कम टू नो कि ये सारे चीजें होंगी और फील्ड में जाएंगे जो पढ़ाया है उसके बाद भी बहुत सारी चीजें हो सकती है. नाउ टू अचीव ऑल दोज थिंग्स, कोर्स का जो टोपोलॉजी है, जो तरीका है, उसमें क्या क्या हो सकता है. थ्योरी हो सकती है, प्रैक्टिकल्स हो सकते हैं, सेमिनार हो सकते हैं, स्टूडियो हो सकते हैं या फिर प्रोजेक्ट बेस्ड. तो जितना उसमें पेडागोजी या वैरायटी ऑफ टोपोलॉजी होगा कोर्सेज का, उतना ही ज्यादा उस कोर्स को, उस कोर्स के ऑब्जेक्टिव को या उसके आउटकम को अचीव कर सकते हैं. Now, I'm not going to discuss all those things, program outcome, program educational outcome, then this program specific outcome. I'm directly focusing on this graduate attributes. Now, these graduate attributes are 12 in number. What are these graduate attributes? Once you complete the course, we're expecting some kind of attributes to be developed in the students. So these are specific attributes. And the National Board of Accreditation has identified the 12 attributes in the guideline to attain the program outcome successfully. One is knowledge. You will get a lot of knowledge when you are in the university. If the university is a multidisciplinary, then along with the discipline, you are going to learn about so many subjects. That is one. So it is sure that when you join any program, you learn or you attain knowledge. Second, problem analysis capability. Whenever you face any problem, you must able to solve those problems based on your knowledge. If not, that means you are not able to develop those attributes when you're doing your program. Then designing, development and designing a system. You should know how to develop and design a new system or new program or new kind of thing. You must analyze and solve complex problem. Nowadays, we are able to see there is a scarcity of water in the city. Now we all are aware about the problem. Now how to solve that complex problem? There is no one solution. So we need to analyze and identify innovative solutions for the problems. Then use of latest tools and devices. As a teacher, as a faculty, how we are prepared with the latest technologies, how we are prepare ourselves with the upcoming technologies or the tools of assessment and so on. So we must be trained on those things. Then society responsibilities. It's our responsibility to take care of the society. So as a graduate, once you complete the course, within the course, you should develop social responsibilities. And once you're out of the course, you should take care of your society, the environment. Then the environment, nowadays we are able to see the problems of climate change and so on. How can we take care of the environment? It is so necessary. Sometimes we are saying that there is a huge water, this air pollution. So if we have more number of trees, then this environment can be reduced. But all those things are in the textbook. We are not able to implement. So we need to see whether we are able to take care of the environment in the real sense or not. Then ethics of the individual. Nowadays, we are able to see how these individuals are. In the 21st century, knowledge is freely available. And जब भी students को assignment देते हैं, we have this observation that students usually try to copy. It may be because of it, because they might be engaged in some different activities, they might not get some enough time. But ultimately, this is wrong from their side. They should use ethical things when they are doing any assignments. So that can be developed in the individual. So once they are out, they are ethically responsible for their actions. Then teamwork and individual contribution. When you are the part of team, you should give your contribution. And as an individual also. Then communication. You must develop soft skills with good communication. Then finance and management of project. Once your program is done and you complete, you are able to manage finance and management of big projects or the projects in your discipline. If you are taking any research grant or taking any huge projects, then you are able to manage it. Then a lifelong learner. Lifelong learner means we have seen एक बार पढ़ लिया तो course खत्म हो जाता है, then we are not interested. This will not work. You will identify that there are new jobs are upcoming, but because you are not updating your tools and devices, you will not get the job. So you must be a lifelong learner. You should continue upgrading your skills or engaged in education. Then ability. So what we are trying to discuss? We are trying to discuss the graduate attributes, and therefore these are the things that we can say. Ability to reflect critical on perspective of education and integrate holistically the theory and practices to facilitate active engagement of learner for knowledge creation. So this is what we are expecting in the teachers. They should go for the knowledge creation, create something new when they understand everything. So we want their engagement, we want their understanding, we want them to integrate holistically a theory and practices. Second, develop competences for self-directed learning. develop ability to work in group, ability to think creatively, analytically, abstract reasoning, creativity, and problem solving skills. All those things we will identify the B.Ed program in one or other way. हम कोशिश करते हैं कि जो स्टूडेंट्स आता है वो बहुत डिफरेंट डिफरेंट तरीके से चीजों को अंडरस्टैंड करने का ट्राई करें। तो कभी बुलेटिन बोर्ड होगा, कभी असेंबलीज होते हैं, कभी असाइनमेंट्स हैं, कहीं पे डिस्कशंस हैं, कहीं पे एक्टिविटीज हैं, एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स हेल्प द इंडिविजुअल टू then capability to understand the context of education in contemporary education society. एक कैपेसिटी डेवलप हो जाती है जब वो बीएड करता है कि वो अंडरस्टैंड कर सकते हैं कि फील्ड में कौन सी कंटेम्प्रेरी एजुकेशन सोसाइटी है, उसके किस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में किस तरीके की चीजें होंगी, वहां पे रोल क्या होगा, रियलिटीज क्या है फील्ड की, और उन सारी चीजों को अंडरस्टैंड करके इंक्लूसिव एनवायरनमेंट में कैसे सेट करें। टीचर्स जो हैं, जो यहाँ से बीएड करेंगे या किसी भी प्रोग्राम से करते हैं, they must be aware about the roles and responsibilities of a competent professional teacher. ना पहले एक स्लाइड दिखाया था, इफ यू रिमेंबर दैट, कि competent या आइडियल प्रोफेशनल टीचर कैसा होगा। तो competent प्रोफेशनल टीचर है तो खुद भी पढ़ेगा और उसके बेस पे उसमें इंप्रूवमेंट करेगा, रिसर्च करेगा और फिर फील्ड में आगे जाएगा। एंड ही मस्ट बी ए वेरी पॉजिटिव पर्सन, जो अपने बारे में बहुत पॉजिटिव होगा, बाकी के बारे में पॉजिटिव होगा और फिर फील्ड में आगे काम करने की कोशिश करेगा। Along with that, critically engage in reflective practices. Reflective practices mean चिंतन करेंगे हमारी जो प्रैक्टिसेस है जिस पे हम काम कर रहे हैं, कि बार बार चीजें करेंगे, देखेंगे वैसे ही काम करती है, नहीं करेंगे तो फिर चेंज करेंगे और फिर उस पैटर्न को चेंज करेंगे। और ये सारी चीजों में करने से ही हम एक कॉम्पिटेंट प्रोफेशनल टीचर बनेंगे। Then ability to use knowledge, understanding, skill for critical assessment of a wide range of ideas and complex problems and issues relating to the chosen field of study. Then ability to apply disciplinary knowledge and transferable skills to a new and unfamiliar context in order to identify and analyze problem. This is very important. Usually we feel that this is not our task. We gain knowledge and that particular knowledge become the part of life and we never apply the new situation. Now, based on your knowledge, you must identify how this knowledge can be transferred into new skills or in similar kind of context can we implement the same thing. सिंपल सा मीनिंग ये है, हम बहुत सारी चीजों को अंडरस्टैंड तो कर लेते हैं, नॉलेज तो ले लेते हैं डिसिप्लिन की, लेकिन जब उसके अप्लाई करने की बारी आती है तो हम उसको अप्लाई नहीं कर पाते नए सिचुएशन में, या जो अनफेमिलियर कॉन्टेक्स्ट है उसके आसपास वाले कॉन्टेक्स्ट है वहां पे हम उसको सोच के एनालिसिस करके आइडेंटिफाई करके उस प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व नहीं करते और वहीं पे प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है। सो ये स्किल्स हमारे पास ग्रेजुएट के एट्रीब्यूट पे जब ये पूरे कोर्सेज करेंगे तो हो जाना चाहिए कि जब आप कोर्सेज करो तो जो चीजें वहां पे समझ में आ रही है उसको आप नए लेवल पर नई जगह पे इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे और जो रियल प्रॉब्लम्स है लाइफ के उसको सॉल्व करने की कोशिश करेंगे। जैसे एक सिंपल सा एग्जांपल देता हूं, हम चीजों को जब काम करते हैं तो हमें लगता है हमने तो ये सीख लिया, अब इसमें पता नहीं क्या काम आएगी। बट इफ यू ऑर्गेनाइज द सेम थिंग, मैं एक सिंपल एग्जांपल देता हूं, साइंस का एक एक्सपेरिमेंट है, बच्चे एक्सपेरिमेंट करते हैं, उनको बताया भी आपको लिस्ट बनानी है, क्या क्या आइटम्स है, बच्चों ने लिस्ट बनाई, फिर बच्चे देख रहे हैं कि एक्सपेरिमेंट कैसे करना है। कैन वी इंप्लीमेंट द सेम थिंग इन अवर लाइफ? यस, इट्स वेरी इजी। वी कैन टेल देम व्हेनेवर वी ट्राइंग टू डू द टास्क, हम टास्क का लिस्ट बनाएंगे, आज क्या क्या काम है उसको देखेंगे, उसमें कैसे ऑर्गेनाइज करना है, फिर देखेंगे कौन से काम हो गए। इट्स वेरी इजी। If it's home, you can prepare the list, कौन सी चीजें लानी, usually we are doing those things, but now वी हैव टू यूज इट इन ए वेरी एफिशिएंट मैनर। हमें देखना पड़ेगा ऐसा करने से ऐसा ही आता है, ये करने से ये चीजें होती है कि नहीं होती। एंड यू विल आइडेंटिफाई कि ये चीजें रियल लाइफ की जो प्रॉब्लम्स है उसको भी सॉल्व करती है। तो आपके जो स्किल्स है वो कैसे हम ट्रांसफर करें कि वो नए स्किल सेट में डेवलप हो जाए ऑन सिमिलर लाइंस। सो जो स्पेसिफिक टीचर में चीजें होनी चाहिए वो क्या होनी चाहिए इसके बेस पे। सो दिस ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर स्लाइड यू आर एबल टू सी पैशन फॉर द टीचिंग। तो एसेंशियल एट्रीब्यूट्स क्या होंगे टीचर के, आइडल टीचर के? पहला, पैशन फॉर टीचिंग, जेन्युइन एंथुसियाज्म एंड डेडिकेशन टू एजुकेटिंग स्टूडेंट्स। वो हमेशा रेडी रहेगा पैशन के साथ, बहुत सारी चीजें अंडरस्टैंड करके आएगा, फिर बच्चों को बताएगा, उससे बच्चों का लर्निंग होगा। देन एम्पैथी, अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड एड्रेसिंग द डाइवर्स नीड ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स। अंडरस्टैंड करेगा और स्टूडेंट्स के जो डाइवर्स नीड है उनको फुलफिल करने की कोशिश करेगा। एडेप्टेबिलिटी, नए नए जो टीचिंग मेथड्स है, नई स्टाइल्स जो है उसको एडेप्ट करेगा। देन पेशेंट, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि आपके क्लासरूम में बहुत सारे वेराइटी ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स होंगे एंड इन दैट सिचुएशन टू सपोर्ट देम, टू अंडरस्टैंड देम, you need a good ability to remain patient and support the students. Leadership, without a good leader you cannot guide students, so you must have good leadership qualities to guide students. Then cultural competence, respect and inclusion of diverse culture perspective in teaching. So these are few things which are very important in teaching. Now coming to teaching competences, the few areas which are very important as per NEP 2020. They are: one, pedagogical competences. If you talk about pedagogical competences, it refer to the ability or skills the teacher or educational profession need to effectively plan, deliver, and access instruction. Develop competences. If we talk about pedagogical competences, teacher develop competences to engage students, actively encourage critical thinking, and promote self-directed learning. The policy encourages an interdisciplinary approach to teaching. The teacher should be proficient in designing and delivering lessons that integrate various subjects, fostering a holistic understanding of concept. तो आपके एक सब्जेक्ट में जो आप पढ़ाने का ट्राई कर रहे हो तो एक ही सब्जेक्ट नहीं होगा, आप डिफरेंट सब्जेक्ट्स को भी इंटीग्रेट करने का ट्राई करेंगे। दैट मीन्स आपको सिर्फ अपना सब्जेक्ट नहीं, आपके बाकी सब्जेक्ट्स भी शायद आपको पढ़ने पड़ेंगे। They need competences in formative and summative assessment techniques. जो फॉर्मेटिव असेसमेंट लेते हैं या फिर समेटिव असेसमेंट लेते हैं उसकी भी बहुत सारे टेक्निक है, उसकी भी कंपिटेंसेस डेवलप करनी पड़ेगी। फॉर एग्जांपल, हाउ टू मैनेज स्टूडेंट्स, है ना, बहुत सिंपल है। इफ वी आर एक्सप्लेनिंग समथिंग टू द स्टूडेंट्स, अगर उसको हम नहीं कर रहे हैं तो वो चीज स्टूडेंट्स पे इंप्लीमेंट नहीं होगी। स्टूडेंट्स लर्न कैसे करते हैं? टीचर्स को देख करके। सो वी शुड बी रेडी फॉर डिफरेंट एक्टिविटीज। हम जो भी काम कर रहे हैं उसके लिए हम रेडी रहे। हम क्लासरूम में जो भी चीजें बताने का ट्राई कर रहे हैं हम पहले उन सारी चीजों से रेडी हो जाए, देन हम इंप्लीमेंट करें। सो फॉर्मेटिव असेसमेंट और ये समेटिव असेसमेंट जो है उसकी टेक्निक्स की भी कॉम्पिटेंसेस सीखनी पड़ेगी। एंड देयरफॉर ब्लूप्रिंट अदर थिंग्स आर बिकम द पार्ट ऑफ। देन प्रोवाइड टाइमली एंड कंस्ट्रक्टिव फीडबैक फॉर स्टूडेंट्स ग्रोथ एंड डेवलपमेंट। जहां पे स्टूडेंट्स को जरूरत है वहीं पे हमें उसी टाइम पीरियड में कंस्ट्रक्टिव फीडबैक देना है। इफ यू आर नॉट गिविंग दैट, स्टूडेंट्स विल नॉट डेवलप दोज स्किल्स। देन टेक्नोलॉजिकल कॉम्पिटेंसेस, टीचर शुड पोजेस डिजिटल लिटरेसी स्किल्स। पहले भी बात किया, बहुत सारी डिजिटल लिटरेसी की स्किल आनी चाहिए। क्लासरूम में बहुत सारे टूल्स के बारे में पता होना चाहिए कि क्लासरूम में कैसे यूज करें। स्मार्ट बोर्ड इज वन ऑफ देम। दे मस्ट अंडरस्टैंड कि ये यूज करेंगे तो स्टूडेंट्स अच्छे से लर्न करें। टीचर को बहुत सारे ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म, कंटेंट क्रिएशन एंड वर्चुअल क्लासरूम मैनेजमेंट करना आना चाहिए. And teachers should cater to the individual learning needs and pace to ensure inclusivity. Thus, they require adaptive learning technology, where all those things, where students can complete their degree and it become the part of this adaptive learning technology. And we can provide good feedback to the students, and their degrees are safe at one particular place, that is digital lock and so on. Then socio-culture competences, two different points. One is to communicate. Teachers also have a bridge the language barrier, as there is emphasis on mother language, mother tongue as the medium of instruction. So nowadays it is emphasized if there is a language barrier for the students, if they're not understanding, then teacher can use mother tongue as a medium of instruction. Sometime if it is required. They must be trained in inclusive education strategies. So as students in the classroom are from different culture background, so we need to adopt different strategies to cater these students. In terms of professional development, by attending different orientation program. स्कूल में तो बहुत सारी चीजें स्टार्ट हो गई हैं. तो different online programs like this SWAYAM platform for higher education and Diksha for school education, CBSE schools also conducting different training program for the teachers with the help of CBSE organization and so on. Along with that, institution can also run mentorship programs from experienced to new faculty members to ensure effective implementation of NEP 2020. So on regular basis, बहुत सारे ओरिएंटेशन प्रोग्राम अटेंड करते हैं जो ऑलरेडी स्कूल में है. जो स्कूल में नहीं है तो ट्राई करो, जहां पे भी वर्कशॉप्स होते हैं, इनोवेटिव पेडागोजी पे कॉन्फ्रेंसेस होती है, कोर्स से रिलेटेड चीजें हैं, आपके प्रोग्राम से रिलेटेड है, ट्राई उन सारी चीजों को अटेंड करने के लिए. So this is what I am trying to emphasize on. To equip teacher with teaching knowledge and skill, we expose to the variety of content, teaching method and skill courses. एनईपी के अकॉर्डिंगली हम बच्चों को बहुत सारा डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ कंटेंट, बहुत सारे टीचिंग मेथड और जो स्किल है कोर्सेज के, उससे हम रूबरू कराते हैं. दिस विल बी कंबाइंड विद प्रैक्टिकल टीचिंग एक्सपीरियंस बोथ इनसाइड एंड आउटसाइड द क्लासरूम. बहुत सारी चीजें क्लासरूम में होंगी और बहुत सारी चीजें आउटसाइड द क्लासरूम भी होती है. दिस एक्सपीरियंस विल स्टिमुलेट then virtual, blended, and real world experience. The program will also address the academic, social, cultural, linguistic, regional, and contextual differences of the learner. तो बहुत सारी चीजों का कॉम्बिनेशन करने के बाद जो लर्नर है वो बीएड से बहुत सारी चीजें सीख के फील्ड में जाता है, और जो लर्नर है वो रेडी हो जाता है फील्ड के लिए. So this is all from my side. I'm just stop here. If you have any questions to me, you can ask. I can devote some time for the question answer session. Anybody, if you have any question related to NEP and how it is integrated with the classroom, you can ask me. Yes. Any questions? मैंने ट्राई किया है, बहुत बड़ा डॉक्यूमेंट है, बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो हम ट्राई करते हैं बीएड में करने की. मैंने बहुत उसको शॉर्ट में, बहुत छोटे में कि समझ में आए उतना ही लेने का ट्राई किया है. बहुत बड़ी चीजें मैंने नहीं की ट्राई. यस. If you have any question or any experience you want to share, you can share.
नई शिक्षा नीति 2020 जो आपने समझाई है उसको थोड़ा सा शॉर्ट में हिंदी में एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं क्या एक बार और?
हाँ, किसमें मैडम बोलिए.
वही नई शिक्षा नीति के तहत जो आपने बताया था कि अलग अलग सब्जेक्ट चूज कर सकते हैं, चुन सकते हैं हम, उसमें जो आपने
या
बताया था।
अभी ऐसा ऐसा हुआ है, पहले चीजें
जी।
फिक्स थी, अभी चीजों को ओपन कर रहे हैं और स्टूडेंट्स के अकॉर्डिंगली है, इसलिए बहुत सारे चॉइसेस स्टूडेंट्स को मिलते हैं। जैसे अगर मान लो बीएड में आता है तो कुछ कोर्सेज है जो फिक्स है, उसको पढ़ने पड़ेंगे, और उस कोर्सेज के अलावा कुछ इलेक्टिव्स हैं जो स्टूडेंट्स के लिए है, वो स्टूडेंट्स उन कोर्सेज को ले सकता है। हो सकता है किसी का इंटरेस्ट योगा में हो, थिएटर वर्क में हो, तो उसका एक लिस्ट ऑफ कोर्सेज है जो स्टूडेंट्स के लिए फ्री है। तो अपार्ट फ्रॉम द बीएड वो कोर्सेज में से सिलेक्ट कर सकता है। तो उसका भी प्रोपोर्शन फिक्स किया है कि वो हर सेम में 2 कोर्सेज ले सकता है, या थ्रू आउट द ईयर 2 कोर्सेज कंप्लीट करने हैं। तो हर प्रोग्राम में ऐसा फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी स्टूडेंट्स को दी गई है। तो एक बास्केट दिया है जहां पे अराउंड 40 to 50 कोर्सेज होंगे, जिसमें से स्टूडेंट्स को कोई भी 2 सिलेक्ट करने हैं। तो
अच्छा।
ये फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी वहां पे दिखेगा,
जी
है ना। कई
जी।
बार होता है कि
जी
मुझे तो
सर।
ये भी लर्न करना था लेकिन कोर्स में नहीं है, तो मैं कहाँ लर्न करूँ।
हाँ हाँ। जी।
तो वो एक ऑप्शन स्टूडेंट्स के लिए मिल गया। ऐसा बाकी प्रोग्राम में भी है।
ओके सर, धन्यवाद, थैंक यू।
एनी अदर क्वेश्चन?
और हमें किताबें कहाँ से लेनी होगी सर, इसके लिए, सर
बीएड के लिए?
टॉपिक्स। जी।
ओके, जैसा हम यहाँ पे डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं, आपने देखा होगा बहुत सारी जो चीजें हैं वो बहुत ही ब्रॉड है ना, व्यापक तौर पे है। वो ऐसा नहीं होगा कि ये पढ़ा दिया खत्म हो गया, ऐसा नहीं होगा। हम सारी जो चीजें हैं हम क्लासरूम में डिस्कशन करते हैं स्टूडेंट्स के साथ में, और उस डिस्कशन के बाद में हम यूजुअली स्टूडेंट्स को नोट्स प्रोवाइड करते हैं। और जहाँ पे रीडिंग है हम स्टूडेंट्स को बताते हैं कि भाई ये चीज है, ये आपको लाइब्रेरी में इस बुक में मिलेगी, यहाँ से पढ़ना है। तो कोई एक बुक नहीं होगा, हम फॉलो नहीं करते बीएड में। हम 2004 से बीएड चला रहे हैं और अभी तक हम ऐसी स्पेसिफिक बुक फॉलो नहीं करते।
अच्छा अच्छा। जी सर।
तो लिस्ट ऑफ बुक्स मिलेगा, अगर आप हमसे बुक मांगेंगे तो हम बोलेंगे इस कोर्स में ये 5-6 बुक्स आपको पढ़नी पड़ेगी, लेकिन हमारी साइट से हम उसी में से कंटेंट लेते हैं, उसका जो ओवरऑल है वो बच्चों को सिखाते हैं, उसी पे डिस्कशन करते हैं, असाइनमेंट भी उसी के बेस पे है, और कोशिश करते हैं कि जो पूरा एजुकेशन सिस्टम है वो समझ में आए, कोई एक पार्ट समझ में नहीं आए,
जी।
क्योंकि वो ज्यादा जरूरी है। वो समझ में नहीं आएगा, फील्ड छोड़ दोगे 2-4 साल में, लेकिन अगर वो होलिस्टिक चीज समझ में आए, आप फील्ड में बने रहोगे। तो उद्देश्य यही है कि जो बीएड करता है वो इसी सिस्टम के साथ जुड़ा रहे, चाहे वो स्कूल में पढ़ाए, या फिर वो पीएचडी करके हायर एजुकेशन में जाए, या वो रिसर्चर बने, शोधकर्ता बने, या फिर वो कंटेंट क्रिएशन में जाए। तो हम तो टीचर को यहाँ देखना चाहते हैं, हम यहाँ से छोड़ के टीचर को दूसरे फील्ड में नहीं देखना चाहते।
धन्यवाद।
ठीक। एनी अदर क्वेश्चन? Fine, if you don't have any question, we can stop now. Fine then, thank you everyone for attending this session. And now onward, you will find that on regular basis, we will have similar kind of webinars free of cost for the participants. So I hope next time also you will try to join those workshops or online sessions whenever we have. Fine then. So I'm going to stop the session right now. Fine. Thank you everyone and have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.